Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into the microscopic arms race, the one happening constantly between bacteria and viruses. And we are going to uncover a truly bizarre and honestly brilliant defense system that seems to work completely backwards. One where the alarm is always ringing, and the moment it goes silent, that's when you know you're in real trouble.
Okay, so let's frame the problem here. Picture this. You're trying to protect your house from a really clever thief. This thief knows exactly how to find and cut the wires to your alarm system before they even try to get in. They disable your defenses, and you're left completely vulnerable. Well, bacteria face this exact same problem with viruses. So how do you stop an invader that's an expert at sabotage?
Now, to really appreciate how clever this new defense is, we first have to talk about the standard playbook. You know, how an immune system is supposed to work. It's logical, it's straightforward, and it's exactly what viruses have come to expect.
The process is super simple, right? Step 1, the cell spots an enemy virus. Step 2, it sounds the alarm by creating a special signal molecule. And step 3, that signal kicks the defenses into high gear. Detect, signal, defend. Makes perfect sense. It's Immunity 101.
But what if a system just threw that entire playbook out the window? Researchers recently found one that does exactly that. It's called the Panoptis system, and it works in a way that is just completely counterintuitive.
And this is where it gets really weird. On the left, you've got your standard system, right? It only creates that alarm signal when a virus actually attacks. But Panoptis, on the right, it's pumping out its signal constantly. The alarm isn't just on during an attack, it's ringing 24/7, even when the cell is perfectly safe and sound.
Which of course brings us to the big question. I mean, if your car alarm is always blaring, how do you know when someone's actually breaking in? You just learn to ignore it. It seems like it would be a totally useless warning system. So, what is really going on here?
Well, the answer is that we've been thinking about this all wrong. That signal, it isn't an alarm bell. It's something else entirely. It's a leash, and it's holding back something very, very dangerous.
You see, Panoptis isn't a simple alarm, it's what's known as a toxin-antitoxin system. This is a pretty common strategy in the bacterial world. The best way to think of it is like a dead man's switch. There's a deadly toxin always present, but it's kept in check by a constant supply of an antidote, the antitoxin.
In the Panoptis system, the toxin is a protein called 2TM-beta. This thing is basically a self-destruct button for the cell. If it's ever unleashed, it literally punches holes in the cell's own membrane, causing it to collapse and die almost instantly.
And the antitoxin? Well, guess what? That's our always-on signal that we were so confused about. It's a molecule called CDIMP. Its job is to physically grab onto that 2TM-beta toxin and hold it back, preventing it from activating. So the signal isn't an alarm at all. It's the leash, constantly restraining the cell's own self-destruct mechanism.
Okay, so now all the pieces are on the board, and now we can see how this all comes together to create an absolutely ingenious trap. The Panoptis system is designed to take a virus's greatest strength, its ability to sabotage alarms, and turn it into its greatest weakness.
You have to remember, viruses or phages are expert saboteurs. They've evolved a whole arsenal of weapons. Many of them produce these special proteins whose entire job is to seek out and destroy signaling molecules. They're built to cut the alarm wires before the defenses can even be raised.
And here, this is the beautiful part. This is the brilliant twist. With the Panoptis system, the virus's sabotage backfires in the most spectacular way possible. When that virus deploys its weapon to cut the alarm wire, it's not disabling a warning system, it is cutting the very leash that's holding back the cell's self-destruct button. So here's how the trap springs, step by step. First, the virus attacks and releases its signal-shredding proteins. They immediately start destroying that CDIMP leash, but in doing so, they unleash the 2TM-beta toxin. The cell dies, sure, but more importantly, the virus dies with it before it ever gets a chance to replicate. It's a strategy called abortive infection. One cell sacrifices itself for the good of the entire colony.
The researchers who discovered this basically said it's a complete inversion of how these things are supposed to work. It's not the presence of a signal that triggers a response, it's the absence of one. The cell's logic is simple. As long as I can hear my internal signal, everything is fine. The moment it goes silent, that means danger, and it's time to hit the big red button.
But that still begs the question, right? Why have such a dramatic, sacrificial system? Why not just use a normal alarm? Well, the answer seems to lie in where you find Panoptis and what it's usually hanging out with. So it turns out Panoptis is not a lone wolf. When scientists started looking through bacterial genomes, they noticed that Panoptis is almost always located right next to another major immune system, most often one called CBAS. And CBAS is a more traditional system that, you guessed it, detects viruses and then sounds an alarm. The exact kind of alarm signal that viruses have evolved to destroy.
And when you look at the data, wow, it's not subtle. In an analysis of over 100 Panoptis systems, a whopping 82% of them were found sitting right next to a CBAS defense system in the DNA. That is not a coincidence, that is a partnership.
This leads to a really powerful theory. Panoptis isn't the first line of defense at all. It's a bodyguard. It's a molecular guard for the main CBAS system. Think of it as a tripwire that's specifically designed to catch the most sophisticated viruses, the ones that have already figured out how to get past the main security system.
And that's its whole job. As the paper puts it, Panoptis acts as a safeguard. If a virus tries to disable the main defense system by destroying its signals, it accidentally triggers Panoptis, ensuring the attack fails one way or another. The bacteria is basically saying, "Go ahead, cut my alarm wires, I dare you."
Ultimately, this whole inverted tripwire logic creates a powerful evolutionary checkmate. It forces viruses into a corner. To beat the main defense, they have to use a tool that automatically triggers the backup defense. It seriously limits how they can evolve, basically forcing them to choose between two different ways to lose.
And that really just leaves us with a final, fascinating thought. The Panoptis system shows us there are these incredible layers of strategy and counter-strategy in the microbial world that we are only just beginning to understand. It just makes you wonder, what other invisible traps and secret weapons are out there shaping the silent, constant war that rages in every drop of water, every speck of dust, and even inside of us?